singer-songwriter JuQ for tonight's event. So enjoy and make sure you're getting up and moving. Thanks.
That was awesome. Like I said, as a singer-songwriter, I go by JuQ. And what I do is basically I bill it as Lakota pop. I incorporate who I am as a Lakota in my music, my language and culture. And I talk about me. I talk about my experiences, and with the inevitable hope that it helps whoever it reaches. So I want to say something real quick. I just dropped a new album this month in the middle of a pandemic. Absolutely insane, just an FYI. It's called Wanbli, and it goes along with the Ogallala Wolf Puppy with PTSD story that I have in my album. It's a journey. It's been quite a journey nonetheless, and this whole year, just like it is for everybody else, has been pretty heavy. So what I want to be able to do today for y'all is give some stuff that you can jam to, something that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, makes you feel alive, makes you feel free. So I want to get into my first song. This would be probably the lead single from this album. This song is called Star, and I hope you dig it.
A love story is valid, a love story is real. What we got is so iconic, we are the biggest deal. Ever since I met it, I love you. I can do it right. Ever since I felt it, I love you. It's a long time. Thought my heart was broken, really brought me fragments. All of you let me see. It's a puppy in his wheels, got a hold on it. We don't got a voice in. You are a star. No one shall take you down. So what I say to each of you, 'cause it's just the truth. Nothing else is more divine. You are the star. The way I shine with you. And nobody will feel my shame. And I just take me to the Milky Way. Every day I share. And I see the eyes and the ears. Thought that I was confused. Really finding myself. All of you get me. Just a body in his ears. Really continue me. Never see what's in me. You are the star. I wish I took you down. So what I say to each of you. 'Cause it's just the truth. You see how it is already. Nothing else is more divine. You are the star. By the way I shine with you. We're the ones who set it right. We're the ones who change this paradigm. We're the ones they wish they could be. Set it right. We're the ones who change this paradigm. We're the ones they wish they could be. But they can't. You are a star. No one shall take you down. Oh, that's what I say to each of you. 'Cause it's just the truth. You see our design, nothing else is more divine. You are the star. By the way I shine with you. Ain't it? Okay. No, 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 no. Galaxy is zooming. Galaxy is zooming. No.
I think I like that though. We're just on a collective truths, and in that sense, we're the only stars.
And that would be my lead single off this project, Yamni. It's one of the crazy part about this album. And I always try to sit there and say it because I have to do that for people. You know, I have to sit here and be unbridledly myself and be upfront. You know, end of 2019, I came out bisexual and polyamorous. And it felt like with the Ogallala Wolf Puppy story, I felt like I had to be in this place of telling people who I was, but also telling myself that. You know, I was going through these cadences of not feeling everything that I was because I was scared of that. And I think because of things I'd been through, which I think a lot of people can relate, you know, it taught me to not feel those things. And now it's like, I choose to be real. I choose to sit here and make an album about being with 3 bisexual Lakota girls. And it's crazy. It's heavy, but it's me, and I want to talk about it. So, but I also want to put it in my music. So I want to actually explore some other music as well. That was off this project, or off my previous projects, off this one, in this story. So this next track is, I want to give a shout out to my bro, Akalu Berthelsen. He's from Finland. He mixed and mastered this new album, and he did a remix to the song you're going to hear, which is a Lakota language song. And so here you guys go. This is Lawia Kiwashte, Akalu's remix.
Doni daku, wole cheslo ashniku. Ohini amisaki nonke, nekile ochuspe. Han happy you ha hope uachi. Na pechuzaki, dagukchi echamu owaki hey. Domani. Ukia inkte, o daka dagni hesheshni. Lawia kimashte, oh. Lawia kimashte, oh. Lawia need to stay. She now obey. Chainkte.
If you're sitting at home, enjoying this, listening to this, I hope you just feel the need to dance, because that's my whole life. Because that's all of this is. It's a journey. You figure things out, and you just be yourself. 'Cause all I wanna be is myself. Yeah.
Doni daku, wole cheslo washniku. Ohini amisaki nonke, nekile ochuspe. Han happy you ha hope uachi. Na pechuzaki, dagukchi echamu owaki hey. Makasa domani, ukia inkte. Odaka dagni hecheshni. Lawia kimashte, oh. Lawia kimashte, oh. We only stay. She now pay. Chainkte. Lawia kimashte, oh. Lawia kimashte, oh. We only must stay. She now pay. Chainkte.
Whether you know it or not, feel you. I feel you. Shine day. And that would be Lewian Kiwashte, my bros remix. Like I said, I connected with a buddy out of Finland, and I've had cool experiences. I want to be able to show people, especially from people from my res, all this different stuff, show people that you can make anything that you want happen. You know, bring that to life. You can do anything you really want to. I want to be able to show everybody that, you know. And the biggest thing that I felt like with this Ogallala Wolf Puppy story was just, it was the process of understanding and figuring out different things, figuring out my place in all this. So, with the singles that I dropped some promo singles a little bit earlier this year, back in August. And this is one of them. This song's called Clifford. Yeah. 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 You know what we got going is for me, real top tier, real no fear. Why these other couples lame? We having 4 days, baby, we are not the same. Nah, nah, need a simple, me a young me. I just love the way you want me. Why these other dudes copy? They just looking real sloppy, been acting real hungry. Out at every movement trying to prove something. I ain't here to do nothing, I just put my shoes on it. Do the most for our people by simply existing. Guess I am the difference. No, I'm praying for you. When I'm humble, just praying for you. Just praying for you. The big red puppy, praying for you. I'm getting mad that we bodies are the model. These crabbies fossils, screw up on the council. Our people getting saved by a half-breed. I'm a full blood, love the way she act like it. To be a full blood, you just need to act like it. Crazy horses mixed, then I am the one. If that white man gave you power, then you just bum. Just know I'm praying for ya. Real humble, just praying for ya. Clifford, just praying for ya. The big red poppy, praying for ya. Crazy horses mixed, then I am the one. If that white man gave you power, then you just a bum. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, oh my gosh. If y'all know how crazy this feels, like, it's so funny because it's like, I want to be lit for y'all, and that's my goal, and I feel like I'm doing that, but it's a small audience. I'm going to be real. It's a small little audience, but I love all these people here. I want to give a big shout out to Dexter and Natasha, and now obviously Naomi with Full Circle Martial Arts Academy. I am the epitome of a struggling artist. At the same time, I make money at this. I do what I do, and I love it. And I want to continue that. I want to keep progressing, and I want to see more artists thrive. I want to see more artists like me, but then all over the board, you know? So it's like, seeing these movements here, it's so important. And it's so important for you guys to be supportive of that and be present. So anyone tuning in, love you guys so much already. I already love you. So I want to skip right into my next song. And honestly, I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't see the next one. Which one is it? Okay. Okay, that's gonna be fun. Can I get that water? Just don't mind me. I'm like, no. Just like, okay. So yeah, this next song is also off the album, the new album that I just dropped. And this one's crazy. It's a long time. So just vibe out with me, feel everything. It's called Tempo Kisania.
I remember when I met them like it was yesterday. I met Tempo on a stormy night in Ayasapa. She was dressed in all red and I was too. Looking blood affiliated, losing my concentration. Her long black hair with the 3 strands, red, yellow, white, went straight down to her thighs. That cookie, the divine feminine, were all up on my mind. The instant I said hi, I knew that she was mine. Wouldn't wanna waste the time, neither do I. Guess I came out by Impali at the right time. She liked that too. Wouldn't mind more girls as long as she like them too. That's lit. Now it's all inception. Told them my perception. We could save our people, culture, language, and Unchimaka. Oh, it's cool, it was just a thought. And she nodded in agreement. So we went at it like rabbits. But steam Shalom. Lift it up just how we want. We do it free. Hey, hey, hey. Went raw, doggy style, Snoopy, no Charlie Brown, cause I don't do anal. Had her more in mind, Lakota name. Then it never felt the same. Came harder than I ever came. No. Then we just laying there, snow patrol, no chasing cars, yeah. I'm real mean like Tonka bars, your mind I'm raunchy. I can tell you want me, so I told you all my plans. Got the TPs, this pop music show just does song just like you said you'd be by my side. And that was 4 years ago. I got tempo kissing neon. I got tempo kissing neon. To nothing into something, fun to real loving. They know, they could never have it like this. They know, forcing that monogamy, that could never be me or us. No boys on me. I met Nia on Ogallala Makoche. It's crazy cause she was just a friend of Tempo. They ain't related, we ain't related like Eves. Perfect, she had crush, I had crush like Eves. We should try it, what's the worst? She could say no and we move on cause we're not toxic facts. We both feel we got a gap. Walking around, open nation, so late. And she know me cause babe a pop star, that's me though. No surprise, she say she down with it. We cute as hell, she cute as hell. Us 3 could be together, they 2 ways. Just don't compare, they know we do it better. Get away to no twister. We shine bright, big dipper. That's some star knowledge, we so poppin', my whip, yeah. My O2 pubic century, pure dirty. We bunnin' in the backseat. We don't care who sees, and I set up a TP. So we move to action, tell them always. Tempo sitting on my D. Nia sitting on my face while I'm licking on that beat. Freaky, and it, wear me, pennant. We in the house, you sent it, and never sit in our section. I just can't believe that this is my life, and it is my right to live how I like, to love how I like. Respect these wheels we honor, just a stone cold stunner. With some bass I wanted. The next morning we sat down with Nia, told her everything in our plans. Said she's something out of our dreams, you know what that means. She was like, I like y'all too, and I'm down. And that was a year ago. That was a year ago. Yeah. I got tempo kissing neon. I got tempo kissing neon. To nothing into something, fun to real loving. that could never be me or us. Nobody is on me. I mean, who are they to say anything about our love story in any capacity? Because I'm happier with y'all
I'm gonna need
than I've
y'all
ever
to
been
dance
with
with this one,
anyone
though.
else. I mean, I know you're happy with me too. So it's really the problem, huh?
I was like, I'm not even done with the song yet. But it's okay. No. This is a random part anyways. This song is crazy.
There's no other girls I would do this with. No, 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 no. Tempo, Nia, girls are my dreams. How I Nia, all these other girls don't compare, and they so aware. I did it 'cause I chose and keeping on my frozen. No answer. Got you and I wanted it. Don't you? I wanted this. Nobody else. Nobody else. No. You know we thinking about.
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 Yummy, hey, yummy, yummy, hey, yummy, yummy, hey, yummy, yummy, hey, yummy, yummy, yummy,
Yummy, yummy. Yeah. Yeah. This is it. I don't know how, I didn't know how I was going to do that record, but I did it because Dexter said he really liked it. I was so flattered. I was like, oh my gosh, you like my weirdo energy. That's everything. Anyways, let's keep it going. I'm going to stick into the next song. It's called Onika. It's a little dedication song kind of to Nicki Minaj because I was really inspired by that girl. So yeah, it features a few other people. Kyrus Kills Plenty, who was a big inspiration for this song, and Michelle's, who's a badass indigenous female rapper from up in Canada. Much love to her. Here it goes.
Don't you think I know what they think about us? OG made up love, they ain't think about it. Nah. They can judge us if they wanna. We just having fun, you know we stay up on it. I've been smudging recently to kill off all my symptoms. PTSD, no corona. Got you 3 and we still on it. Me and I, it's us against the world. Try to fuck around with us, we might just steal your girl. We gon' get up. We could get up. Watch your new bar in her clitter, since you always acting bitter. I mean clear. Nuh-uh, her tits. Know that you pissed, but I don't give an ish. Look like a bitch when I'm looking so lit. Dang, you basic. Love life looking so tasteless. And all your claims are baseless. Just a sweetie and I'm always on the A-list. Just a puppy and I got 3 wings. That's Kimbo and Yanni and Nia. And the cookies real tight, so see ya. The loves of my life, I'll lead us. You need us, hey. Stunning like Onika, and that's what my Stunning like Onika, and that's what my Nicki Minaj, we the Minaj. Nicki Minaj, we the Menage a Trois. Hey, yeah, we the Menage a Trois. Now presenting Michelle.
Always get my way when this baddie comes to play. Every day is my say. Top to bottom, Mr. Straight. And you know they're gonna hate, but we won't give them the day. Watch your girl hate, cause he's plus 3. Ladies on biddies in my caddy. Got your bitch on style while we waiting for last call. Calling us the triple threat. So close you can feel their breath. It's on that Onika vibes. It's on that Onika vibes. On that Onika vibes. Vibes. Created a wave, you know we gon' get it. Surfs up, you know they won't forget it. Chilling by the water, but I'm already sweating. Feeling hot about it, but I gotta keep guessing. Ride my wave, no way to behave. Gotta get it right, cause you know we gon' for days. You the coach, but I'm making all the plays. And I gotta back up all the way days. Hit it once, before you pass it to the back. I like a real rock, while she's second on my ass. How to hit it right, gotta keep them on task. Squirt in your face, but I'm keeping on my mask.
Stunting like Onika, and that's what my Stunting like Onika, and that's what my Nicki Minaj, we the Minaj. Nicki Minaj, we the Menage a Trois.
Boo. That's when, once again, another song off the new album, Yamni. And I just wanted to perform today, but I want to be able to say to y'all, my music is available everywhere. You know, there's so much ample room. I think a lot of artists are nowadays, it's super easy to put your stuff up everywhere. And that's my whole cadence. My music's everywhere. Bandcamp, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. Like I said, as a singer-songwriter, I go by JuQ, uppercase JuQ. And yeah, I mean, you should be able to find me. Yamni, Nia, Tempo, those are my different projects. And yeah, there's a lot of things that me and Dexter will talk about here in a bit, but it's going to be crazy. It's going to be heavy. But hope you guys like everything. I hope you guys tune in. Hope you guys send donations, do whatever. Support what's going on here, because it's everything. It's everything. Huh? Oh, cool. Oh, where can they? Is it like the? Oh my. Don't mind me. My Cash App is at Wanbli Ceya, and my PayPal is wanbliceya@outlook.com. And if you want to be able to look up everything, I mean, yeah, all the names are there, how to spell it. Yeah, all that good stuff. So it's going to get crazier. That's all I can say from here. So this next record is a record off my last album, Nia, which is more of a continuation. So far, I've done 3 chapters of the Ogallala Wolf Puppy with PTSD, which means there's 3 projects. A lot of music for y'all to digest, and this song is just a bop. It's a bop. So it's called Mastinchalawi, which in Lakota means rabbit woman, and yeah, I hope y'all dig it. We've been back on Ogallala Makocha, and it's all good. I'm just so surprised that you stuck right by and just used to heartbreak like a giant bite, no. And we got some stress, we gotta face facts that we do is the best, no. And we can never stop, this ain't a new year, we can let the ball drop, no. And you know I'm your club, I know that you love me, I know all that sucks, but we can make it love me. Come around me up. You set me free, baby. You living dreams daily. That's how I be. Way that you hold me, a blessing for me. That's how I be. People for loving, that's my favorite key. You set me free, baby. Got me living dreams daily. Hey, Temple, you can get it. How your world changed in a minute. I could go Cujo on the cookie if that's what you wanted. Just say the word, I'm on it. Giving all that loving and some TPs. Then after we finish up, we need tea. Then get her laying back on a treaty. Oh, and I'm cool with it. Slanging that free, I'm a fool with it. You know a wag native can't mess with us. Tryna get me at my worst, ain't no best in us. They tryna use their language for some airtime, making their careers off a pipe. Now us, we're pure with it. We know you the one, I'm sure of it. Mastinchalawi, you set me free, baby. Mastinchalawi, living dreams daily. That's how it be. Way that you hold me, a blessing for me. People for loving, that's my favorite scheme. Mastinchalawi, you set me free, baby. Mastinchalawi, got me living dreams daily. Ooh, break it down like ooh, send it all around like ooh, love it up like ooh, kill a couple patterns like ooh. I know, do it like I do. Ishnala OTP Oyateki. That would be my song, Mastinchalawi. And now I am to the final track, which is actually the title track from my newest project, Yamni, spelled Y-A-M-N-I. So, just in case you don't know how to spell that for some reason, but it's all good. It's all good. But this is probably honestly the pinnacle of this project. It's definitely the most genuine sense of like, I just believe that love always is love. When love is between consenting people, consenting adults, it has every reason to be alive. It has every reason to be seen and be heard and be present, no matter what it looks like. And that's what a lot of this project is about. I'll touch on it more, but I just want everybody to know that, you know. We all have that capacity to reach a sense of freedom, you know, a sense of me, you know. Individuality, I think, needs to be embraced in a lot of different ways, and when we learn to be okay with what makes each other different, then we can be accepting, you know. So this song it's the last one, so let's go. No. You've been on my mind and you've been on this. We just wanna love you, we're so aware. I know that you're tempted, I know how we love. Let's just sit you down, we'll let you read our book. Simple and easy, you are the one. And I agree. Yeah, I'm need, now you're buying your suit. with our body type. I know it's so different, but don't deny it, life, if you feel life. Don't deny it, life, if you feel life. Now it's all about your feelings. It's about you, me, her. No low self-esteem, we know our worth. We sexy as hell, why they not wheezy? Simple and easy. You fine as Nikki, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Yeah, me, know you're buying your suit. Yeah, me, that cute face with our body type. I know it's so different, but don't deny it, life, if you feel life. If you feel it, then feel it, oh. If you feel it, don't deny it, oh. If you feel it, then feel it, oh. You know we could be your ones, baby. Yeah, me, know you're buying your suit. Yeah, me, that cute face with our body type. I know it's so different, but don't deny it, life, if you feel life. Don't deny it, life, if you feel life. Don't deny love. And that's me. That's my music. So once again, JuQ. We're gonna be, yeah. I hope you guys like the music. We're gonna switch over now. All that fun stuff. This is gonna be crazy.
You ready for this?
I don't know. I think so.
So what I'm gonna do is kick these lights on. Get ready. Oh man, got bright real fast, huh?
I know, and sweaty.
It's a good look for you though. You're managing it well.
I know, yeah.
That was a killer performance.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it too.
Right.
So we have a lot to talk about. Usually I just kind of ad-lib these interviews and don't
we were
really.
having a panic attack about this prior to. It was,
Yeah.
It was great. It was so, we were in sync, you know?
Yeah, so we sat down and actually kind of worked some questions out we're going to talk about, because we're going to talk about some pretty heavy topics tonight.
Of course.
But they're important things that we should probably discuss as individuals and as society. So your latest release, Yamni, which we just heard quite a few tracks off of, is billed as the third chapter in an overarching narrative that you call the Oglala Wolf Puppy with PTSD. And that began with your 2016 album, Tempo. And then you continued it last year with your 2019 album, Nia. And then, so for those who haven't been following along, can you tell us more about who the Oglala Wolf Puppy is?
Well, I guess if I don't want to be the kind of person that's too blunt, you know? And for me, it's like, one thing that I ended up realizing when it came to this is that there was a lot I felt like I was speaking to. And it was not only like what I felt like I wanted my own people to have, but it was what I want other people to have, you know? It was like after the things that I had dealt with and things I had been through, it just became this emulation of me. It became this like something that was just a way of me being authentic and real. And I felt like I spent a lot of time not saying everything. And I felt like the pandemic, with where everything's at, you know, right now, like especially with this album, of like why I felt like I needed to drop it now, period, was like, I knew this was the time that people were like looking at the way the world was, and it was like boom, boom, like people were coming out of it and like coming out of whatever their worlds are. And so we can kind of get to this like point of like collective in it, and being Oglala and you know, in touch with my culture and language, and going through that journey of reconnection of where I came from and where I was personally. It was like seeing that cadence of what was happening, and now it's like, now I just feel like that's all I want more than anything, is to be fully aware and to give people something, to give people real, to tell people the truth, and you know, no matter how it looks. And that's why it was like, this album specifically is like a crazy transgression. Everything was leading up to this point of just figuring things out, finding it, and just piecing things together. And I had realized with these new releases of what I have, with Yamni, it was like, I have to sit there and say like, oh, hey, this album's about a poly relationship with like 3 bisexual Lakota girls. And I'm like, how do I tell people that? But it is what it is. Being able to sit there and be real about non-monogamy and different things like that, I think it's just super important. I feel like there's ways to be who you are in a way that works. It doesn't like, you're not making anybody like lose themselves or be uncomfortable like for the sake of being you. You're just, people don't know what they want. People don't know their experiences. So like articulating new things, I think it's important. And that's what the Ogallala Wolf Puppy, like the intent of it now is like, it's just gonna be like whatever happens next now. And I feel like I talk a lot.
No, that's what we're here for, is to listen to you sing and talk. So it's all good.
Yeah.
PTSD is another recurring theme in a lot of your music, pretty much all of your music. It's telling this continual story about overcoming trauma and the experience of our youth and, rising above that. One of the hardest things, and we talked about this, we both dealt with PTSD and deal with it still today. And one of the hardest things to do is articulate what that experience is and the shame that has resulted from our traumas. How do you as an artist and as an individual articulate your experience both as someone who suffers from PTSD, but also someone who identifies as poly and bisexual?
Right. I think that one thing that ended up being like the cadence that I had to like kind of work through, because like I had realized that no matter what I was doing, that these distinct moments that had happened to me in my past, they were coming back. You know what I mean? They were coming back. They came back. You hear them too in Tempo and Nia, and I felt like those were the pinnacles of like me just sitting there and like feeling that stuff, and feeling what I was experiencing, not only when it came to like being involved with the women that like getting in the relationships I would get into with girls. It was like I had to realize and sit there and be like, this is coming back because I haven't really fully felt it. I didn't let myself. You have to sit with these uncomfortable things, because then that's what gets you to that next point. Like I realized that in these traumatic moments for me, that I was like still living there, and you can't do that to yourself. You can't, like, it takes away everything. And so it's like, when you're in that fog, if you feel like you're genuinely lost, it probably is because of that, what I want to encourage for people is to like, it's a lot to say to live in the moment, it's a lot to say to live in the moment. But when you sit there in that moment, you sit there and you realize all this stuff is coming at you in a weird way, because these were connections you made. Sometimes it usually is people that have traumatized us. It usually is external influences. It's always people. It's always that. And so it's like, once you learn how to like make peace and sit there, then you can actually feel yourself. Like, it took a lot for me to feel, like, to put words. I didn't have to give words. I didn't have to say bisexual and polyamorous. I didn't have to say that. But because I was a public person, I wanted to do that for other people. I wanted to do that for my people, where systemically we're ingrained with, how it trickles down, the homophobia, the anti-LGBT stuff. It's like, I didn't want my people to deal with that anymore, because in our culture and language, it's already accepted in some degree, way, or shape, or form. And I can go into more particular details, but like these are just nitpicky things. It's to a point where it's like, you just need to be like, I talked to like my chie, and he's very like, really like every detail about the culture and language. You have to say everything. I'm like, I can't do that sometimes. It's okay to not like tell it. But like, what I learned was that like, in real world time, if I'm sitting here with like, this album's about being with 3 bi girls and they're all consenting people and they're all here, it's like, that's okay. And if I'm with another guy, which is the next album, the next chapter, and all this is about the guy, the relationship with him, and what the complications with that as a man being in same-sex relationships, whatever, it's the same thing. It's that same thing of saying okay, and for like releasing this music was that same cadence. I had to like tell myself I was okay. So when I released this, I was like, hey, you're okay. You can say everything, the sexuality, the raunchiness, but also the love and everything. and even really what what I want. Like at the end of the day, like when it comes to how I saw love was like, I want to be like how I see you and Natasha. It's like, it feels like y'all are like two people like together trying to help people, make things better. Like that's what I want, like my love story to be, and my love, like, and I want everyone to be in that. It's okay if you like, and at the same time, it's okay like to not do anything, but it's just like, like with, I think this year has really shown and put that perspective. Like a lot of things have happened because of like, whether it be people of color and LGBTQ plus, like stepping up and just owning their truth and owning who they are, and sitting and saying there to people in power, to white people in power, that, hey, this stuff isn't okay. Like the way what this was born from, it's still being implemented, and we need to like correct that. We need to correct those things now. We need to like,
And that's something that we talked about earlier. There's a lot of parallels between historical traumas, cultural traumas inflicted upon people of color and the Lakota people by white people, but also the traumas that we experience as individuals. And how when you can try and push that under the rug and bury it all you want, it's there.
Right.
And it's going to come up, and you're not going to be able to stop it. And I feel like with this pandemic, you talked about being in the moment. We've been forced to sit in the moment and just sit with this and stare down our sins and be like, what are we going to do next? How are we going to overcome this? Now, you talked a little bit about how your relationships are seen in your culture. One thing I want to know about is how do you feel like poly relationships are viewed in Lakota culture and on the reservation versus American colonial culture?
It's like nuts, like right now, because this was the biggest thing I was always so scared of. I was like, wow, this is really like I'm like, this is a lot to say, and I'm like, the reality of it that happens, like if I'm speaking, in regards to my culture and the reservation, they're kind of two different things. It's really, really hard because I talk about it a lot, where like the res is kind of like a homogenized description of what people like. White small town people, there's people like that on my res, like of my people, they're like that. There are people on my res who are like, sometimes like it's like, from the ghetto in Chicago or something, black people and stuff like that. It's the same cadence where like these identity archetypes that my people have sort of latched on to because they don't have what they, who they are with them. And it's like within my culture, it's what I've recognized is that it is totally valid, but a lot of things from like that element of like people and their distinct experiences, a lot of people are being integrated with this concept of shame and fear of just being truly themselves and being open. What I've learned in regards to being poly, it gave me that opportunity to be more genuinely real and honest with everyone that I involve with. But then it also opened me up to people in general, and it just the hardest part in regards to how, I guess, if you want to look at it from like the perception of the United States, it's like, well, with the United States, everything was like Christianity and that whole like monogamy, straight, etc. And it's like, well, obviously we're realizing like that's not okay. Like it's like you can have these beliefs, but then at the same time, like, and then there's also other beliefs that also like people switch, people fluctuate. Some people ditch these things because it doesn't work for them. There's nothing really there. And then I come from where I'm like, my language and culture is completely different from really any organized religion, period. And it's like, whoa, it's like any, it's like, it's a definite, like, I feel like people have to be willing to step outside of their worlds, like step outside of whatever their world and cadence is, and learn to hear other people's perspectives. And like, I guess the inevitable consistency is that we all have to be like human beings. Like, what are we gonna, is it really that bad for like, multiple people to be in a dynamic or relationship? Is it really that bad if they're all consenting to it? It's like, because it's not. If people of the same sex enjoy each other, is that really a problem? No, it's not. Like, like it's, and it's like, even more so like where this album, like I was scared. I was terrified of it because I never wanted to put out any sort of idea that like, there's some of my lyrics are questionable. Like, but like I'm in these consenting situations with women, and it's like we're just dealing with ourselves, dealing with our lives, dealing with outside influences. And so like, Onika was like a record that I felt like I was sort of just talking my ish. Like I was like, as if I was like stunting with these girls and we're just doing our thing. And like, you have to deal with that. Like everyone has to deal with like, I could be with doing that. And I think it's important. I think it's important to be open and out there, and not only saying it, but then also like, you know, like there's a girl that I'm kind of seeing at the moment where she's in my same lane, and we're kind of like, she gets it, and I don't know. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I just can't help but see that, and I guess as an artist, I have to deal with the different realms. Like, you know, for anyone that wants to do this music thing, you have to accept that there's going to be the negative people, and then as well as the people that are going to love what you do. Y'all have no idea how flattered I really was when he said that he liked Tempo Kissin' Nia, because that was like the weirdo track from the album. It's like a 9-minute odyssey, and it's so fun. And I was like, so cool. I'm like, there's going to be other people, and you know, that's the inevitably. I felt like I just wanted to give myself, and I was hoping that people will benefit from it, and that's all I'm seeing. I feel like inevitably, and that's the hard part too, is that sometimes you have to sit with things and let people sit with things, because then it's like, and then it's like, whoa, and then they're like, wait, you're right. I'm like, wait. I'm just like, so I felt like I think this project's fun. I think it's funny. I think it's crazy. I think it's cool, and it's different, and I hope that like all you guys, that if you check it out, you know, like I said, it's everywhere. If you like it, you know, I hope it can like just help you, like help you like snap out of things. If you're scared of art, and you know, asking or saying these things, like don't be scared anymore.
So I want to actually ask you about that. So we've discussed shame quite a few times, and you bring up like religion, and you see when you ask if this is something that everyone is involved is comfortable with, what's so wrong with that? And I think a lot of that has to do with there's people out there who they see that and they don't feel personally liberated enough to even fathom doing something like that. The idea that that would be an acceptable behavior for them to partake in feels shameful to them. And then they project that feeling of shame onto other people. And what I'm wondering is, so regardless of how you feel morally or philosophically, like this is something you spent a lot of time thinking about and have come to terms with where you stand on it, ethically speaking.
Yeah.
At the same time though, do you find yourself struggling with that personally, like with your feelings surrounding it due to the messaging and expectations brought on by society?
Oh, 1,000%. like 1,000%. It literally, like, because I've had instances with women where like the instant they hear a perception outside of it, like really it kind of ruins it, and it gets them scared. It gets them like, and I can't sit here and like, inevitably, like, yeah, polyamory is always about ethical. It's about consent. It's about honesty and being real with all the people you're involved with, and you know, seeing that sort of those aspects sort of trickle down, it becomes like I have to like ground myself, you know. Like we were talking about it a little bit earlier, where in certain instances, like, I'm gonna put something out there. It's gonna be out there for everyone. Now I have to sit still. Now I gotta now I have to sit still and be like, I don't know what to do now because it's out there. And
just gotta wait for the reaction.
Yeah, wait for the reaction and just be ripped apart, no matter if it's good or bad. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's both like, they're both traumatic in a very weird way. When you have PTSD, that's what it's like. Things just good or bad. It's like, it doesn't have to, like, even the reaction for me is like, wow, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna be all good. Like, it's intense.
It's like you really, really want to be noticed, and then when you're noticed, you really wish you weren't noticed.
I know, and then you're like, wait, this is art. This is what it's about. Like, this is like, in a way, you just go with it, you know.
Well, and so about that, about being afraid of being seen. I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is that they're afraid to be seen, because it's scary to put yourself out there like that. I want to ask you if there's any closeted poly or LGBTQ plus or two-spirit people on or off the res watching right now. What would you want to say to them?
I feel like the hardest thing is that everyone's at their own place, you know, and whether you're closeted, whether you're out, whether you really understand where you're at, whether maybe even you're still questioning, like, if I can speak in regards, like, you're completely and 100% valid. And there are so many people that will tell you the same thing. There are so many people that are even different from you that will like, oh, okay. But at the end of the day, it's like, you have to be true to yourself. You know, you have to be real. and no matter how terrifying it looks, and no matter what happens, you're not gonna be alone. Like we never are. You know, we're all here, like dealing with it, dealing with everything, dealing with our truths, our emotions, our feelings, and to just sit there and just know that you're not alone. I'm like, I guess I'm like a poster child. Hey, I'm like here's an example of somebody that like is. When I came out, it was the craziest thing, because I saw the outpour of love, and I saw family switch up. I saw all kinds of stuff, but I realized that I'm in a place now where I have my own stuff. I have my own place. I have my, fight for that stability, fight for your freedom, fight for your right to be here, and fight for your space, work on it, work everything out. We all know what to do in a way, in a way of getting to a place, getting your own stuff, like figuring out, yeah, just keep trudging on, keep going on.
And that's what it's really about. He's got to, as my friend Natalie, who co-produces this series with me, said, you just got to keep doing the next right thing, which is hard these days.
Right,
but
right.
you got to keep moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, what's next for the Algala Wolf Puppy?
I got some music videos planned for this album. I got some stuff, and there's a short film. To kind of because this album was like sorting out everything with women, sorting out like, okay, I see the 3 girls, I see that it doesn't have to happen, it can happen, whatever, it's cool. Now it's like after this is the next chapter. It's talking about, I say the 3 wifeys and a hubby thing, and that's the cadence. And so the next album's about the hubby. So seeing where things kind of go along for, the next couple of years. 2021 is going to be crazy. I think people will be so happy to get back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah.
See where things...
or do we want to even get back to normal?
Not like what was before. No, not at all.
The new normal.
The new everything.
Yeah.
I think literally it's amazing. There's so much really cool stuff happening, and I've never felt more happy, and I want other people to feel that. So like...
I think, from my conversations with people, like things are heavy right now, but I think we all know that the old ways must die to make way for the new ones, and that's what we're seeing right now is that transition. And transitions are never comfortable or easy. I
know, right? And climate change is real, and like, hey, all this stuff, like, there's a lot of it's all valid. Everything that's happened this year, I felt like was like to me, from a cultural standpoint, like Unchimaka, like Mother Earth was just like, yo, y'all need to change it. Y'all need to change everything. And I'm like, okay, I got you. I'll try to do what I do. I won't stop. And I'm hoping other people in my lane, or whatever, if they do music, or Natalie. I mean, she's an amazing woman and so powerful in so many ways. There's so many realms that y'all can tackle what's going on in our world, and I just encourage you to try everything. Do everything. I mean, just... You
got a lot more power than you think.
Definitely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Well, I really want to say thank you so much for coming out tonight. You drove all the way out from the reservation to be here for this. Like, we really appreciate it, Wanbli. Like...
And my sleep schedule was crazy, and I apologized to him early. I was like, we were trying to get stuff situated a little, but it worked out. It worked out great.
Everything works out. It always works out.
Always.
So I want to say thanks again to everyone who came out here tonight. My wife Natasha is actually running video and sound this evening, so I really want to say thank you to her. I want to say thank you to Naomi, who came down and got everything set up and helped us find where outlets are at and everything. I also want to say thanks to the Rapid City Arts Council. This is actually made possible thanks to a grant that we received through them, through the Adelstein Arts Grant. And then also I want to thank all of you who've tuned in and supported us since day one and continue to be with us now. Without you, there wouldn't be any reason to do this, and we really appreciate you all. So I want to say thank you all so much. I also want to mention thank you to Black Hills Works. Their EchoWorks program provided us with a monitor that we are actually using now to monitor our feeds live, which makes it a lot easier because I can see myself on the screen up there now, which I couldn't before. And it's really awkward when you have no idea what people are seeing or hearing on the other end. Well, see, you just spent like an hour doing it.
I know, and I'm like, I don't have contacts, and I wasn't wearing my glasses. I think I'm prettier without them, so I was just so now I'm like, I can't see it though.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much. Come on back next week. We're gonna be here for the Story and Song series next Sunday at 7 p.m. with Andrew Jant. You might know him as Trap Kit. He's going to be performing over at Decades Vintage Clothing. So we can't wait for that. It's going to be a super good show. Thanks again, Wanbli.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
It's
you.
so awesome.
Thank
Love
you all for
guys.
tuning in. Have a great night.
Oh my God, yeah.